I was away. All sorts of weird things were going on. Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella, who, by the way, nobody had ever heard of before he became the CEO of Microsoft, and he hadn't really done anything to get your attention. So this is what he did. He came out last week with comments about women's pay raises. Now, if you're ever going to talk about women's pay raises, think it through ahead of time. I don't know that that's what he did, because this is what he said. Quote, "It's not really about asking for a raise, but knowing and having faith that the system would actually give you the right raises. That might be one of the superpowers that women who don't ask for a raise have. That's good karma. It will come back." What planet are you from? Are you kidding me? Trust it's going to work? That's why women make 73 cents on a dollar. Nadella issued an apology just hours later, but that didn't prevent backlash from inundating the internet. That's because faith and karma don't actually get you a dime on your paycheck. Stupid comment. So we're going to tell you what will. Brad Karsh, who's much smarter than that, though he's not the CEO of Microsoft, he's the president of JB Training Solutions, a workplace training and development consulting company that works with both organizations and employees. Brad spent 15 years in human resources for one of the country's largest ad agencies, Leo Burnett. He joins me now. You know, Steve Ballmer wasted a lot of space at Microsoft, and I wasn't sad when he was gone. And I thought Satya Nadella would be that guy. I'm going to give him a second chance. I'm going to hope that's not what it represents. But let's forget about him for a second. What does get women raises?
I will tell you right now, it is not karma and faith alone.
I would
as
think
you
so.
said, right? I mean, and conceptually, I love that idea, right?
Yeah,
I mean, wouldn't
sure.
it be great if it just worked that way? And honestly, when I was a young buck starting my career, I thought, put your nose to the grindstone,
Right.
Good things happen.
Right.
Doesn't work that way.
Right.
So what does work is actually doing the part of asking for a raise in the appropriate way. So I always say there's a fine line between being a assertive person who's looking for a raise and being sort of a cog in the wheel, someone who just continually comes after and after. You don't want to be that squeaky wheel, right? Who comes over and over and over. So you want to have a plan, you want to do it smartly, and you want to be cognizant of it. So it's not every 3 months you're going in and saying, I need a raise, I need a raise.
Right.
Have a plan. What's a plan mean? Why do I deserve a raise?
Right.
You know, it's one thing to ask for a raise, and it's another to realize that you deserve it and to make that case.
You said something to me years and years ago. Brad and I have known each other for years, and you said whether you're applying for a job or you're asking for a raise, you gotta explain what problem you solved or what problem you're going to solve.
Exactly. What are you going to solve? What have you solved? What are you going to do to make that company money? And now, for some jobs, it's easy, right? I'm going to bring in this amount of money because I am in sales.
Right.
But for other jobs, it's about what does my contribution mean? What is it different from what other people are doing?
Right.
And how can I add value in a way that nobody else can? And that's what you want to do when you go in and ask a raise.
Yep.
You want to do your research, too. What are other people at my position?
Right, so this is important to me. Does your employer care, and do they look well upon you saying, hey, look, I think I'm the lowest paid in the group, and I think I'm really productive?
Well, I think there's nothing wrong with that if, in fact, it is true. And I think you should look inward and outward.
Yeah.
So, hey, listen, I'm an accountant making, $110,000, and I did a little research based on accountants at my level, and out there, I know they're getting 150. What's going on with that?
Right.
So, look inward, look outward. But I think it's fair to ask those questions.
Are you allowed to ask? Can you ask your HR people, hey, where am I in the grand scheme of things?
You can ask. I don't know what they're going to say, but it doesn't hurt to ask, right?
How do you ask for the raise, really frankly? I mean, some people like to use anniversaries of work, saying, look, I've been here a year, I've been here 2 years, I've been here 3 years, what's going on? What's the best system? Is it having a robust employee evaluation system in place that allows you to say, hey, I did really well?
Right. So there's a couple things. So one is the evaluation, one is the work anniversary, and the third is the major accomplishment. I just brought in this account. I just worked on this huge assignment. I just took over for a few people. And I say, there's an opportunity now, as companies have cut and not rehired. Hey, listen, you cut 3 people. I'm now doing the work of 3. I don't necessarily want a triple salary, but 20 grand? Would that make sense?
So the logic of saying, if you give me this, you get this out of me.
Precisely.
Or you've been getting this out of me. You've been getting a discount on me for a while.
Right. And I think it's 2 things. So you have to talk about what you've done in the past if it's an existing employer, but you also have to talk about what you're going to do in the future. It's both. You can't just talk about all in the future because they might say, where's the proof? I'm going to see it.
Yeah. All right. While I was away, I also heard about this Richard Branson saying that you get unlimited vacation if you work for him. What is that all about?
Yeah. I love my favorite topic, vacation, right? So first of all,
because Americans take very little of it.
They do, and that's my whole thing. I love the concept of unlimited vacation, but will people actually take it? Because we're in an environment that's very macho.
Yeah.
To haven't taken vacation in 7 years, Allie.
Yeah,
right?
I work 18 hours a day.
Right.
Yeah.
Aren't I cool? So,
and Americans always leave vacation on the table. That's the funny thing. We always look at it at the end of the year. They haven't used all the vacation to which they are entitled.
Right, which is minimal to begin with. So there's all sorts of studies that it's good for your health, it's good for your employer. Take your vacation days. We force our employees at our company to take their vacation days. It looks poor on their reviews if they don't take it. And then the other thing that's important is, how do you actually disconnect? So it's one thing to say, like, hey, I'm on vacation for a week, and then you're like scrolling that thing the whole time.
Brad, always a great time to see you. Thank you so much. Brad Karsh is the president of JB Training Solutions. Get his book, by the way, Manager 3.0, A Millennial's Guide to Rewriting the Rules of Management. He's written several books. You should read them all.